Hello my wonderful beautiful friends, my name is Mayana and today I'm going to be doing my September wrap up. In the month of September I read 22 books, which is pretty good. I wanted to read more, but I ended up watching a lot of movies and TV shows. I watched 8 TV shows, a total of 117 episodes, and then I also watched 29 movies and I read 22 books. I need to get a life. So yeah, let's just get into this wrap up. So the first book I read was The Partner Plot. This book was an ARC. I was so happy to get it from NetGalley because this is a book that I've been waiting for my entire life, and I'm very happy that it was a black romance. And that trope is the waking up in Vegas trope. So it's the trope where like two people, they end up waking up and they find out that they're married and they end up staying married because it's convenient for them. I freaking love that trope, and I've been wanting people to write, because I read it all the time in like fan fiction and stuff like that, but it's not a trope that's really explored a lot in like actual books. And I think that's because a lot of times you can't get like a full story out of that. I mean, obviously in this one you did. This is about this guy and this girl who grew up together as like childhood friends or like childhood lovers, and then like they obviously broke off and they end up going to a wedding through like a mutual friend, and they end up waking up and they're married and they decide to stay together because it's just convenient for the both of them. I really liked it. I thought it was fun. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did think that the beginning was a little bit boring, but honestly this couple was so freaking cute that like I was like by the end, because usually if I get bored with like a book in the beginning, like a romance book, and also I'm not even in my romance era, but usually when I get bored with a romance book I'm like, oh okay, let's hang it up, let's hang it up. But no, like this one, like they were really cute, damn, oh, they were really cute. And I read Unhinged, which is about this girl who bangs her door. Yeah. So basically it's about this girl who lives in this apartment and her door is sentient, and the guy, her landlord, has been like breaking into her apartment. He's really creepy and the door can't do anything about it, and so the door comes to her in a dream. He's like, there's a spell put on me, and if you bang me I will come alive and I can protect you. So one day she wakes up, she's like, I'm gonna bang my door. I don't know why, maybe this was in a dream, this is a little crazy, but yeah, and she does. And I thought it was fun. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I just didn't really like the main character's personality. Like, she's just not the type of personality that I vibe with, to be honest. And then I read Carmilla, which is a classic. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I discovered in September that I really love waking up, starting my day with a gothic literature book, and then reading whatever book I want to throughout the rest of the day, because they're super short, or not even just the short ones, but like reading a few pages of a gothic literature and then going on about my day. I discovered that like I fucking love that, and so that's what I did. As you can see throughout the month, I didn't do it a lot. Like Carmilla, I thought it was fine. It was so funny. So this book predates Dracula by like 26 years, and it's about women, and it's so funny because I was like, when I was reading this book I kept thinking like, why is there a man writing about lesbians? And then I realized that this is like supposed to be like, oh, be wary of the lesbians, like be scared of the lesbians type of books. And I just think it's so funny that lesbians took this book, and well, queer people took this book and they read it and they're like, I don't give a fuck what that point of that man was. This book eats. And then like, this is my book now, bitch. And I love that. I think it's very funny. But like the book itself, I just thought was like fine. And then I read Pretty Little Liars book 1 through 4. I did not rate them, but if I could I probably would have rated them like 4 and 5 stars. They were so much fun. I read them along while watching the TV show. I have a vlog on it if you want to check that out, where you can see my more in-depth thoughts. Part 2 will be coming at some point, I don't know when. Sorry, I did lie to you guys, but the video didn't do as well as I expected, and then I kind of got really depressed towards the last week, and then I changed my TBR. So I'm so sorry if you were like hoping for that. It'll be here at some point. Okay, and then I got sick, and so I read like 4 books in like 48 hours because I was just laying in bed like suffering. So I just listened to some audiobooks. So I read Falling, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is about this guy who's a pilot, and his wife and son are being held hostage, and the guy that's holding him hostage is like, crash this motherfucking plane, bitch, or your family, they're gone. And the guy's like, yeah, here's what we're gonna do. I'm not gonna crash the plane, and you're not gonna kill my family. So I thought the beginning of the book was like really thrilling and really fun, but then I got bored towards the middle, and then in the end I didn't give a fuck anymore. So yeah, and then I read The Crucible, which this book felt like a fever dream within itself. And then the fact that I was sick, I was just like, I just felt like, I don't know, like, you ever see those TV shows where people have like, they're sick and they have like the weirdest dream ever? That's how I felt, but I was completely awake. I loved The Crucible in high school. It's one of my favorite books. I love like witches. I loved this in high school. I was so fascinated by this book in high school. So I reread it because I was like, I remembered that I owned it because it was like hidden off in my bookshelf, and I wanted to read it because I'm like, okay, do I like this book as much as I thought I did? I actually originally gave this book 3 stars on Goodreads because I couldn't remember what I would have rated it in high school. So looking back, I was like, oh, I'll give it 3 stars. This book was so much fun. Everyone in this book was fucking crazy and insane and stupid, and it's just it was just fun. I had a good time. And I read Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I gave 1 out of 5 stars. This is like another Shakespeare retelling about these people who can like body jump, and it's also like a competition that they have. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I didn't finish the book. I got 70% through the book, and then my Libby like I accidentally hit my Libby. I do this all the time with my Libby, by the way. I accidentally hit the Libby app and it like scrolled and started from the beginning, and I was like, I don't remember where I was, and I don't give a fuck. I'm done with this book. So because I read 70%, because I know a lot of people are mad when people do that, I'm so sorry. I just didn't like it. I wasn't having fun. I didn't like her other book, These Blind Delights. So I was like, you know what? I really want to read this author. Everyone loves her. I think I'll really enjoy her. So I waited for her adult book because that's something more I would like. Her adult book felt very YA. There was a point with another character was talking to the character, and they were like, you're 22. And I was like, damn, bitch, are you? You don't read like it. And then there was another point in this book that made me feel really uncomfortable, and they were talking about like body jumping, and they were basically saying like your body isn't your own body, and like it's like basically it was like really weird blurry things about consent. And like, I'm not saying there's an issue with it, but there's something about that whole sentence that made me really uncomfortable. Like, I feel like consent, when I got to the part, I don't know, maybe it wasn't an end, but the part where I was at, like, it hadn't really been touched on. But I feel like, I don't know, then I just thought about the plot line and how like nobody is consenting to these things. Like, you don't, like, he's doing things in people's bodies, like stealing and just like doing things, and like, I don't know how to explain it, I guess, but it just made me really uncomfortable. Like the idea of consent and like people not consenting and just I couldn't get with it. To follow the House of the Usher to prepare for the TV show that Mike Flanagan has coming out this month. I love Mike Flanagan. He's one of my favorite horror movie directors. So I read The Follow the House of Usher to prepare for the TV show, and I didn't love it. Well, no, I didn't understand it. I feel like I was too dumb for the book. I didn't know what was going on, so I'm just gonna wait for the TV show. Maybe I'll reread it again in the future. But I was like, girl, am I dumb? I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the thing. I read The Secret History, which is a very popular book. My buddy read this with my friend Jemiah, which I talk about her in like all of my videos. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it in the beginning. Like, I had a lot of fun. Like, I like the characters, even though you're not really supposed to. Like, you're supposed to hate them, but it's like, I like them. I like that the main character, Richard, was just like so unreliable. But I think my issue is I kept comparing this to If We Were Villains, and there's just so many things about If We Were Villains that like I love. Like, I really like the aspect of like trying to figure out like, is there a deeper meaning behind like the Shakespeare plays, like in context of the book, or like was there like a deeper meaning behind like things that they said, and like comparing Shakespeare and like comparing the themes of Shakespeare to the actual book itself and how they relate it. And it's like, I love those things about If We Were Villains, and I was expecting there to be things like that in The Secret History, but it's like, no, everything is pretty much laid out to you. I think the only thing was just like how much of an unreliable narrator Richard was. So like the last like half, like the last like this much, really could have just been taken out the book. And then we get into my era where basically almost everything that I read after this was turned into a TV show or a movie, just to warn you. So then I read There's Someone Inside of Your House. This is one of the very first books I read when I joined the book community. I've always been a horror movie girly. I've always been a slasher girly. So when I heard about this book, I had to read it. I literally remember reading, like getting like a preview and reading the first chapter and being like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so fucking good. And me and my sister, we both read it. We both were really excited about it. This is my sister used to actually read. and we were one whole person. And so I remember like us like loving it, like, and then we finally read the book, and I thought the beginning of the book was so good. I liked the characters, I liked the main character, I liked that she was black. Well, she's actually mixed, but you know, still I like that she was like half black, and like her grandma was black, and like they had a lot of that. She had a lot of backstory, I really liked that. But I felt like I figured the killer out very fast, and then also I felt like the killer was introduced too early. And so, but I still like think about this book like all the time. I think about this, like I genuinely think about this book all the time. I think it has some of the best kills. I think about like the characters, the romance. I think about a lot of it. And my sister watched the movie a few months ago, and so she liked it. So I watched the movie, and I liked the movie. It has like a lot of low ratings on Letterboxd. Girl, you can find me on any reviewing app. You can find me on Letterboxd, you can find me on Serialized, and you can find me on Goodreads, just so you know. If you want to know, you can always DM me and ask me, or you can comment down below, because I leave my Letterboxd linked in my Twitter, but you can always just ask me. I love reviewing things, like it's just so fun. But I'm a lot more critical on books than I am like movies and TV shows. But I'm trying to be more the same amount of criticals on movies and TV shows I am with books. Anyways, that's so not the point. I'm so sorry. So I watched the movie. I thought it was fun. Like it's just like a little high school slasher. Like it's not really meant to be like taken that seriously. I really was uncomfortable with the plot line that they went with, and they did change who the killer was. They did also like they changed a lot of things about the book, the movie, and that's why I reread the book. That's why we're here. That's such a long explanation. I'm so sorry. I reread the book after watching the movie because there was a lot of things that were changed. And I want to see like, do I remember like who the killer was? Because I didn't. They changed the killer, and they added a lot more. Oh, listen, and then I read Little Fires Everywhere because I wanted to watch the miniseries on Hulu. So I ended up giving this 3 out of 5 stars. I thought that these characters were insufferable. Like everyone in their mama literally was fucking insufferable in this book. But I literally like the town, and Moody is like one of my favorite characters. And then I like the love triangle between Moody, Trip, and Pearl. And like I kind of shipped Pearl with both Moody and Trip, to be honest. And then Lexi was also one of my favorite characters because she was like the only fucking normal one out of this whole thing. And I do like how this book ended. I just love like the town, but the characters piss me off. Like both moms pissed me off, and then the oldest sister really pissed me off in how she treated Pearl. And then Pearl pissed me off because of how much she wanted to be accepted by these people, and like it was really irritating me. And then I watched the show, and it was like rewatching a show that you didn't like back to black, because like I already had just finished reading it, and then I watched it, and everything was like really the same. Objects would have gave 5 out of 5, and I also watched the TV show. I originally gave it 4 out of 5, but then I watched the TV show right afterwards, and I was like, you know what, I love this story. This story is like a thriller. It's about this girl who is a like reporter in Chicago, and she goes back to her small town because her children in her town are going missing, and she lives there. So she's like, okay, I'm gonna go there and write a report about it. So she goes to live with her estranged mom and her stepdad and her youngest sister. She had a younger sister before, but her younger sister passed away, and it's just like a mystery of like what's going on. And I really relate to the main character for some reasons that I won't disclose, because I'm like, that's just too personal for the internet. But like being very vague here, because like if you know, you know. Even though it's a thriller, I thought that the main character had like a lot of personality, and I felt like a lot of thrillers, they just give you a character, and like it's very obvious the character is just to get you through the story and to get you from point A to point B. Whereas with this thriller, like she has a lot of personality, she has a lot of backstory, she has a lot of flashbacks. There's a reason why she is the way that she is. And I really like that. And also, I figured out the plot twist 40% into the book because I am beautiful and smart. But it's like, even though I figured it out, that didn't take away from the story, because like everything was kind of obvious, bitch. Like, just, you know. Shelter, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars, is based on the TV show that I'm currently watching. I'm obsessed with the TV show, so I read this first. Whereas everything else that I've read and then watched, I read the book first and then watched it. But I read this one because I was currently watching the series. I finished now, but I was currently watching the series, and I want to see how it would end. Girl, the book ends before the endings are different. Not different, but they end on different points. So that was kind of a waste. But no, I really liked that. I had a lot of fun. I really love these characters. I love them. They give found family. I'm going to be continuing on with the series because now that the writer's strike has now ended, we're just waiting on the actor strike to end, and I really hope that they will confirm a season 2 because I need it. I love these characters. I love this group. They're like my mystery solving children. I love found families and I love mysteries, and it kind of give Stranger Things but like in a like less sci-fi vibe. And I really love like how crazy this conspiracy is. Like it's really like a conspiracy type of TV show, and I really love how crazy it is. And I made my brother watch it, and even he liked it. So I'm really hoping that we get it, and I need these characters back. And it's like so queer. It is so queer. Like you really got to get into this. And then I read There's No Way That I Died First, which I gave 2 out of 5 stars. I don't really like YA horror, and I know I probably shouldn't have read it, but I really wanted to support some black authors, and I thought like sometimes it was like I'll still read a genre I don't particularly like if it's a black author, because I think that I might have a higher chance of liking the book. And that just wasn't the case with this book. This book is about this girl who has this podcast, and she has her 1-year anniversary, so she's throwing a party, and she even brings this clown in to like scare everyone. But then the clown, they start playing a game, and then the clown actually starts killing people. So this book really reminded me of Bodies, 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 which I love that movie, but I just think that like in the book, like it just didn't work very well. And I just feel like the clown was very underwhelming, and I felt like what actually was very underwhelming. And then the main character, she kept making horror movie references, and it reminded me of Tabby from Pretty Little Liars Original Sin, and so it was really annoying. And so it was kind of the same in There's No Way I Die First, where she just kept making references, and it just really got annoying over time. And then it would get to a point where like someone would die and she'd be like, oh, it's just like this movie. It's like, girl, now is not the time. And I just don't like pop culture references in books anyways, but I excuse it a lot in horror, and it's like it was just doing too much. Okay, I read I Feed Her to the Beast, and That Beast Is Me, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It's like a ballet story about this girl who is in the ballet, and these girls are bitchy. And so yeah, it's a ballet like horror, which I found very interesting. But I thought it was like okay. I thought it was fine. I thought the main character was I thought everything was fine. I do think that the atmosphere was painted very well, and like it's very intriguing from the beginning, and like I did enjoy it. It just like was fine. I thought it was a well debut novel. And then I read The Library of Shadows, which is about this girl who goes to the school with like ghosts, even though she doesn't really believe ghosts. Her dad was like killed, so she's trying to figure out like who did it, and she ends up coming across these boys who are ghosts in the library, and they're like helping each other out. This literally is like Julian the Phantom's Dark Academia. Literally my review says that, and I literally kept thinking like this author has to be on Twitter. And so I finished the book. I gave it 3 out of 5. Like I thought it was fine. Like it wasn't anything special about it. Like it was whatever. I did think that the romance didn't really kick in until like the end, which didn't make any sense. I mean, they were enemies to lovers, but damn bitch, you know. And so I'm like, it's so funny because I went to the author's page because I like to stalk authors and see like what their next works are, and I'm like, okay, well maybe I'll like her next book. So I'm trying to see like, I don't know, sometimes Goodreads has their next books announced early, so I go and click on it. I know this woman. I literally know this author. She was like one of the very first people I follow when I joined the book community, and that made me so happy. Like I'm so proud of her. And then I read Behind Her Eyes, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is a very popular book. I thought that the plot twist, this is about this girl who basically gets involved with this man who has a wife, and then she gets involved with the wife, not like sexual or anything, but she becomes friends with the wife, and so it's like a thriller. And I thought it was fine. I thought that the end definitely did gag me, though, I will say that. I just think I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars because I thought the main character was fucking annoying. Like low-key, she got what she deserved in the end. I can't even be sad for her. I can't even really feel anything for her because she was really stupid. She was really fucking stupid, and she got what she deserved. And that's all I have to say. I read Our Share of Night, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. This is like a long story about like family and paranormal and like seeing ghosts and like cults and things like that. I just thought this book was like fine. It was really long. I ended up like, it felt like a chore reading. It was like 500 pages on my iPad, so it's probably like 600 pages because my iPad like it condenses the pages down, so I think it's like 600 or 700 pages. So it took me all month to read it. I literally started the 1st, I finished it the 30th. I thought that was crazy. I was reading it all month. I read this for me and Jake's book club, and like I said, I thought it was fine. I just like, it was just so long, and it's like I wasn't really attached to any of the characters. I didn't really feel like, I didn't feel anything for any of the characters, and it just felt long. Like, it just felt long, and I thought it was good, but it just felt long, and I got bored, because I do that with long books. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep reading them knowing I get bored, but sorry. Then lastly, I read The Cabin at the End of the World, because I love the Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read his other book that I've actually owned before that. This book is about this gay couple. They're taking their daughter on a camping trip in a cabin, and these people come in and they basically hold them hostage, and they're like, you have to kill one or the other or the earth is gonna end. And so you're reading this book trying to figure out, like, what the fuck, are these people crazy? Is the earth really gonna end? Like, what's gonna happen? Like, and I thought this book was, it just made me sad. Okay, I didn't like the ending, and just on purpose. Like, it wasn't even that the ending was bad or anything like that. I just didn't like it. And it's like, duh, it's a horror book. Things had to, I just did not like it. It did not have to happen the way that it happened, and I'm so sorry. Okay, my camera overheated, which means it's time to end this video. So goodbye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.